Hello everybody and welcome back to another new video on the channel. Today we're going to be talking about Persona 5, specifically episode 26 of Persona 5. And I say that because a couple days ago, right around this time ish, maybe a little bit, I had posted a video on some of the problems that Persona 5 had in its anime and how I felt about it at this current point in the series before watching episode 26, which is the newest episode that just came out last Saturday, which I only just got done watching not only like about 30 minutes ago, and it's different. It's way different than what it has been over the course of the past like couple months. In the sense of the tone and the direction that they decided to go for with this episode. And it's all a matter of opinion whether or not you enjoyed it or whether or not you didn't like it whatsoever. But the episode starts off with, a new opening, but the opening is very strange because they do a different animation for the opening, but they don't decide to change the song whatsoever. It's the same song that it has been over the course of like the last like 2 months, I want to say. I don't remember when they last changed the opening for the Persona 5 anime, but they decided to do a different animation, but they didn't change the song for some reason. Now, I don't know if that's because they didn't have time to change the song or create a new song for the show, which is why they didn't do it yet. But regardless, they did a new animation, and I honestly think it's one of the better ones that we've gotten so far, and I actually really like it, and it has a lot of focus on the confidants. And when I say that, it's like the side characters that we've been seeing, besides our main characters who are a part of the Phantom Thieves. So the side characters such as the politician guy that we saw like a couple episodes back, or even like in the last episode. He's in this episode as well. And there's a lot of focus on like side characters, like confidants, and that's because of the direction that it ends up taking towards the end of the episode. It focuses on Ren, our main protagonist, and his relationships with all the people that he's met up until this point of the series, being his friends who are part of the Phantom Thieves and those that he's met that have helped him shape up to be who he is as the leader of the Phantom Thieves. We meet a couple of characters. Some of the characters say a couple of things, but it's kind of weird, and I wonder why they decided to kind of do this, because some of the characters that we do see who are confidants, we rarely get to saw them and they rarely say anything. Like there's like the kid who's like really good at like this video game where you like use a gun as the controller, right? And he's like super good at it, and he's done like a few things for the main character, but there wasn't like an episode focused on him. He didn't really like say all that much or anything. He just kind of told Ren to do this instead of doing what he was doing at that moment, and that's kind of it. Nothing really happened. So I wonder why they decided to go with this route. But Arsene, the first persona that Ren, the main character, awakens, he basically says, recall everything that you've done, that you've done up until this point with your friends or people that you've been close to. Recall everything until the end. And then he basically says, if you make past this, then we'll most certainly meet again. And spoilers, let's just go ahead and say that they will end up meeting again, quote unquote. So we get actually a couple like new scenes that I've never seen and weren't especially in the video game. It's actually significantly different. Like this extra scene that I'm talking about in the beginning of the episode, rather, is Ren, Joker, he does like the whole thing where he like busts through the window and he lands on the ground and he's getting surrounded by a whole bunch of police, right? But we actually get to see Makoto, kind of seeing all this kind of happen all in real time, and everybody else is seeing it as well. But we only get to see the reactions of Makoto and Akechi. Akechi specifically because he's actually kind of very important in this episode. So Ren, he gets taken away by the police. Obviously, he's captured, and they've captured the leader of the Phantom Thieves. They say let's just we have to leave, right? They have to go. So we get a little bit of recap. We get a couple of extra scenes that weren't in the game, or whatever. We see a couple of stuff happening with the politician, one of the side characters, and then Akechi starts explaining that like there has to be like for some reason like this happened, right? Like someone obviously had to have given they basically ratted it out. Someone ratted out what the Phantom Thieves were doing on that night and sent them like the coordinates of where they were currently at. Someone did it, but they didn't know who it was. But then Akechi makes the claim that it was the guy in the black mask that was referenced in previous episodes towards like the beginning with like Madarame and the other guy Kamoshida, not Kamoshida, but I forget the guy's name, but basically he's saying like the guy with the black mask is involved with all this, right? So then he also says that just believe in me, and then he's gonna go and save Ren. So the episode continues. We go back to Sai with her doing like investigative like questioning stuff with Ren, and he doesn't really say anything. And she names off all the main characters that we see in every episode. Ryuji Sakamoto, An Takamaki, Futaba Sakura, Makoto, Nijima, and Haru Kumura, and Yusuke Kitagawa. Yeah, that's his name. She names off all the characters, all the characters that we see, on a weekly basis, and says, "Are these accomplices? Do they help you?" And he doesn't answer. But it's kind of weird because then she points out he was given a truth serum. So why didn't he say anything? I don't know. I just thought that was weird. I don't know. Anyways, and then she starts making assumptions of a couple other things. She's still asking questions and stuff, and then she figures out that Akechi might actually be one of the other members of the Phantom Thieves. He might actually have been helping the Phantom Thieves the whole time as they were going after Sai and her palace and her shadow, right? A couple other stuff happens. Ren is starting to like gain consciousness. He's not under the truth serum anymore, and now he's starting to recall this plan that he was coming up with. And this plan, I'll actually leave it to a surprise for people who don't want to know. Just because. But then he starts remembering a plan that him, Futaba, and fucking Morgana. Jesus, I had a blank in my mind. I couldn't remember Morgana's name for some reason, but he was coming up with a plan with Futaba and Morgana, about how to like get him out of this situation, and they were planning that ahead of time, and they were saying like Morgana was saying his suspicions were correct, and they were coming up with this plan, but they were pretty vague about what they were doing. And then Ren, he says that you need to show him that, and that is his phone, Ren's phone, and it was what he was using to get inside of the metaverse. So eventually later on, with a couple other scenes that aren't really that important, eventually Sai meets Akechi, because Akechi was like he said earlier, he was trying to go and save Ren, our main character. She shows him the phone, and then there's a little glimpse in Ren's eyes where you see like the butterfly when you first unlock your persona, which is supposed to possibly reference that he is now probably connected to the metaverse somehow for some reason. But the episode continues. Akechi starts walking down the hallway. We see a couple of shots of some other characters saying they need to have faith, they need to believe in Ren, etc., etc. Some other stuff happens, and then Akechi, lures the guard that was watching over, Ren in the interrogation room, saying he said he was unarmed and he's going inside a room and who's a murderer. They go in. Akechi takes the gun from the guard. He says, "Sorry, it took me so long. I'm here to rescue you." And then he says, "Is that what you thought I'd say?" He kills the guard, and then he says the words, "This is how your justice ends." And then he kills Ren. He shoots him point blank in the head with the gun. And then he called him addict trash and then walked away. And the shot ends with Ren with blood coming out of his head, with the gun in his hand, and Akechi was wearing gloves, so they're not going to find fingerprints from Akechi and saying that he, killed Ren, the leader of the Phantom Thieves. And then the credits roll with a song. I forgot what the name of the song is, but it's basically him, walking towards, light in the end of the hallway. And this is acting as the end of Persona 5. This is the end of the series. Our main character, Ren, is dead. He's not alive anymore. He's been killed by someone who backstabbed him, right? Is that actually how it's going to end? Why is it ending like this? You can't really believe it. It's supposed to be shock factor. And then after the credits is over, you get a quick shot of Ryuji, and he says, "Yeah, right," saying like, "Yeah, right." Like this actually is how it ends. This is how our main character, his story, ends. You act like this is actually the end of the story. Yeah, right. This is actually the end of the story. Whatever, right? But yeah, spoilers. This isn't the end of the show. This isn't the end of the show, and I'm gonna wait until when the next episode comes out to explain to you why this isn't the end of the episode. And honestly, for some reason, part of me was still wondering like, are they actually gonna do something different from the game for once? And then I was like, but I already played the game. I know what happens. And if it's gonna do something different, then what the fuck was the point of doing an anime adaptation of the game? Turns out it's gonna go through the route of the game like you expected it would. So anyways, that's the end of the episode, which means that's going to be the end of the video. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like. If you are new, subscribe for more content just like this. I have a couple other videos I want to make. The next episode for Boruto comes out this Sunday, and I'm going to be out of town Saturday, so I might not actually be able to get around to reviewing the next episode for Persona 5 and Boruto. But I am going to be watching it when I get out of town, and I am going to actually rewatch the episodes again and then review them when I come back, which is going to be probably around until Monday. And whenever those videos come out, they'll come out. I'm gonna try to get a couple other videos, out before the end of the week. Hopefully, I can get them out before the end of the week. But regardless, if they don't, it's whatever. But anyways, leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. I'll see you guys next time. I'm out. Peace.